Hey everyone, just want to give a small apology before the episode starts. It seems like around the 37-minute mark, there's some kind of static every time that I speak. We'll try to make sure that doesn't happen again next time, so please just bear with that.
I noticed on my end too, the S's, words with S, it resonated much louder because I was speaking too close to the mic. Apologies for that also. And we'll make sure that doesn't happen in the next one. Yes, it was either doing the disclaimer or re-recording the whole 2-hour episode of episode 8 that you're about to listen to. And yeah, we're like, nah, we can't do that. We can't recreate that. Like we can't
Yeah.
catch lightning in the bottle twice. It's like we're not Marshall Matters.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. One last thing too. Christian brought that up into the episode, which you're about to listen to. That there's some we touch up on some very scenes with like sexual abuse. So we don't want
Right.
this
Yeah.
no one to be triggered. Just like not no one to be triggered, as in just upfront, so you're not surprised basically. Because that happens in this episode, and we touch up on it and bring up examples. So it's something deep and painful that we would never wish on anyone. So I just want to put it out there so people can know ahead what they're getting into for this episode.
Yes.
And like, right, like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, bear with us for a little bit. That's I like.
Yep.
But the Revenant fans will get it. But anyway, that's it.
Yep. So with that being said, enjoy the episode.
All right, folks. We are back with another episode of Storyalises.
It's
I am
time.
shit.
It is
This man just
time.
cut me off. It's time. All right.
It's time, Pierre. It's time.
Okay. We get it. We get it. It's time. No intro needed. Is intro still needed? Okay. At this point, for the two listeners, we're back. This is Pierre again.
And this is Chris.
Oh, right. And this is episode 8. What is the title of this? You just told me. I don't remember. I really don't.
When we are in need.
When we are in need. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Starts us off with
David episode.
David. David. Yes, David. Yeah, the thumbnail thing. That's why I chose David. But anyway, yeah. So homeboy speaking. From what we can see, he's a preacher. The Book of Revelation, chapter
Yup.
21.
Yup.
From the passage, basically, this is hope. Basically, it's a new beginning. I saw a new earth. I think it's a new heavens. Basically, to give his folks hope, which is quite a good passage when you're going through whatever they're going through, which I mean, we're going to get to. And there's like a banner or a flag in the back that's like, when we are in need, he shall provide. So, yeah, as in
Yup.
to not lose faith, not lose hope as we're going through what they're going through. And
Yeah.
then go ahead.
There's
Yeah.
there's so like you mentioned the passage. Well, he's a preacher. And the passage
Mm-hmm.
is from the Book of Revelation.
Yep.
And from what I understand, well, I guess first let me just quickly repeat somewhat verbatim what he said, or what the passage is. And it's like a new heaven and a new earth. Oh, no. He says, this is David speaking. He says, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
No more death. Yep.
Yeah, and then before he continues, on cue, the camera cuts to a girl who's crying, and
Mm-hmm.
then he continues, and then he says that, and God will wipe away all tears from their eyes,
Right.
for there will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain, for the former things have passed away. So I I think we can dissect this verse a little bit because there's a lot happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'll give my thoughts on it, and feel free to jump in if you have any.
Of course.
Uh, but so it from what I understand of the passage, it describes uh, a vision that John, who was one of the 12 disciples of Jesus, a vision that he had of the future. And this vision represents a future where all forms of suffering and pain cease to exist. So it's essentially like the ultimate world. Um, so the first uh, verse, I don't know if that's what you would call it, but the
Mm-hmm.
first
Yeah.
line,
First verse.
yeah, so okay, so first verse, it says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away." So this, I'm interpreting it as it's signifying some kind of renewal. So the end of something followed by the beginning of something else, much like how the apocalypse, uh, and well, much like how just the overall apocalypse took place, like it was a new world that was following the end of the old world. Um, and then the verse after that, he says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men." So the tabernacle, it's a sacred container. Uh, the meaning of it varies depending on the religious context, but
Mm-hmm.
I think essentially it's a
The holy
line that's
place.
saying, yeah, like it's a holy place, and also that it's showing a close relationship between God and humanity, specifically the humanity that persevered into this new heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who survived the apocalypse, basically. Uh, and then the next verse, it's, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, for there will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain, for the former things have passed away."
Right.
So this verse, I'm interpreting it as it's conveying the idea of a complete restoration, uh, a complete restoration that has the absence of suffering and everlasting peace. So this part of the passage, um, it can kind of be like it's sowing the seeds of hope, like trust in the decisions of God, trust in
Yeah.
how everything is playing out, because the grief that humanity has been through is necessary in order to get us to that promised utopia. So the passage as a whole is kind of just telling a, a story of the journey that humanity has taken thus far, and it's ending off on a note that's very hopeful. And the fact that David said that he's repeated this line so many times, it's I'm seeing this as something that they say in order to comfort them whenever
Yeah.
they're in a distressful period.
Yeah. And he's starting to see that because like he's a shepherd. That's his sheep. His exact word isn't like that's his.
Very
What's the
biblical.
word? That's his. Yeah, that's his assembly. He's a pastor. That's his. Those are the members of his church, basically, because they've elected him. He's a preacher, he's a leader, so we can see that they're slowly losing faith, which he mentions like a scene later when he's talking to James. But it's like that's basically what I said. That's hope. Because like what is like any religion based on? It's faith. What is faith? Believing and not seeing. Believing requires hope, which where faith
Yes.
ties in. So therefore he's
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing that idea to these people that, what we're going through right now, I understand that it's bad. I understand what we're hungry, but there is a better tomorrow. There is a better place that we will go. So therefore we must not succumb to like whatever to like lead us astray from said place, said direction. Like we need to stay strong. And of course, you can see
Right.
from people's faces that they are not, they're barely holding on, man. Because, I mean, like as it should, realistically, like if in the position that they were. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so then the girl cries, like you're saying, yes. And then he goes to her and tell her, yeah, God, wipe your tears and there'll be no more death, with the continuing the comforting passage from Revelations 21st. And he stands up as he's walking away, and the girl continues. And she asks, when can we bury my father?
Yeah.
um,
Mm. And then James, he
James give
flashes
him a
David
look.
this look.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
And the camera zooms in on him, and he's like, it's a bit too cold right now. The ground's too cold. We'll bury your father in the spring. Now,
wow.
we're like, okay, this is some weird shit's going on. Now, also, dude, they do this very well. The the religion touch for this episode was beautifully done. Like, I'll give my full take on it when we get to the end. But the writers go even as far as giving these guys biblical names. Like, his name's David. His right hand man's name is
There you go.
James. One of the
Yeah.
guys that Joel later on ended up killing, his name is Timothy. These are all like people in the Bible. So I love that touch. It's like they not only gave you that religion aspect, but they like threw in some characters in the Bible from there to make it stick, to freaking put some emphasis on that. And that was beautifully done.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes
So,
me think. Because in the games, these were the names of the characters. Like it was James and David. So,
yeah.
but there was never. Um, they never showed us that David was a religious person.
Ah, okay.
So I wonder if that's just a little piece of lore that existed, but they never
Mm-hmm.
touched upon in the games, and
Right.
now in the show they can really expand on it. That's cool. It's a cool detail.
Which they do in one episode. Dude, the way that the show's almost like Black Mirror, except for one thing, they're all connected. Well, Black Mirror, I think two episodes are connected. The one with the main character from Get Out. Yeah, he had one and two together. Like, have you ever
Mm-hmm.
seen Black Mirror?
Yeah, I saw a couple. I did see a couple.
Yeah, it's like they're not usually connected. It's most of them about Black Mirror is really about like technology and what like these technological advances, like the negatives of them. This is where
Mm-hmm.
like the main picture, the poster, is just a black screen. It's supposed to symbolize like of a phone, like a black screen, which is dope. They go into that for every episode, but none of them are connected. Like as Joel and Ellie is moving along this journey, like they find people in their way for like a full episode that they tell you a beautiful full story that could be its own movie. Like this plot for this episode could be its own movie. But still,
Yeah.
it's they do a very good job.
Wow. All
Then
right.
after the service, people are shaking hands, thank you, preacher. And of course, the last guy, which is James. Great. So homeboy asked, by homeboy I mean David, um, how much do we have left of venison? Like I I didn't understand this until I got to that point in the episode.
Oh
Because of him
yeah.
having to specify elk and rabbit.
Yeah.
It's like because venison already means part of an animal that you can eat.
Right.
So for him to be like elk and rabbit, and James like, oh yeah, yeah, just a few, maybe we can do a week. As I'm watching this, I'm like, why do you have to specify it's an animals? I'm like, when he first said that, I was like, oh, maybe they have a lot of different animals, so he's picking his top two, or something.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
that's what was it? When James flashed David that look, because it was right after the girl said, "When can
yeah,
we bury my father?"
right,
And
mm-hmm,
David or James gave David this look, and I saw that as James just saying, like, "You and I know we did
of
something
course, mm-hmm,
necessarily barbaric to her father's
yeah,
body." Uh, but yeah, well, I'll say more on that later. By the
yeah,
way, James, can you believe that he's the voice actor for Joel in the games?
Bro, why do they swap all these people, man? First Perry and Tommy. It's like
You know,
he does actually. Yeah, James does. Yeah, I believe it. He has a strong voice, actually. Yeah. Hmm.
this later on in the episode, this hurts me, but yeah, this was a decision that did hurt me. Seeing the soul of Joel be this character, but I'll say why later.
Yeah, and of course, maybe we can last a week. The others thought this all dear, but just hallucinating at this point. Just you see what you want to see, and as he's walking away, the leader, like I mentioned, seeing from his oh my goodness, there's a word for this. Not his assembly. His assembly seeing from his I'll say assembly until the word comes to mind. That they're losing faith. And this is his right hand man. He was like, I sense some doubt, James. And James like, I haven't lost faith in you, David. So you just know these past 6 months have been hard. And he's like, I get it. They've been hard on everyone. Go get your guns. Let's go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Then they shoot back to Ellie and Joel in the basement.
Yeah.
Of course,
Ellie asks if he's thirsty.
Ellie
Dude,
asks if he's thirsty. Right.
she just wet her fingers and then rubbed it on his lips.
Yes.
I respect
Yes.
the desire to ration clean water, but
Yes.
there's a lot of snow outside.
Yeah. Right. That's a very valid point, bro. I'm like, I didn't pick up on that, but yeah, now you mentioned that. Literally, there's a lot of snow outside, girl. But like, that's some freaking. That's like droplets. It's like
Yeah,
that's something even ants couldn't drown on that. Like, baby
that's
ants.
like it like barely passes his chapstick, but
And then
uh,
the food, bro. The last bit of like that looks like a piece of chips, like one piece of.
yeah,
Oh
like
man,
half a
she
chip,
broke it like half a chip.
and she
She
nibbled
broke
on it.
it, nibbled a little bit, and left the other. Bro,
Yeah.
nah, nah. When I saw this, I'm like, yo, because we know what it's like for an adult to do this. For a kid to
Hmm.
do this, it's even worse, man. Because Joel can go through hunger, but that's a kid. Ugh, she's definitely going through that too to savor that last and share it with you. This is something like Henry would probably do for Sam. Like Henry would like not eat at all.
Yeah.
Because if you're an adult for a kid, it's they gotta eat. You grow hungry, you can withstand that longer. But oh man, when she did that, like nibble on a little bit and give him the other half, I'm like, yo, that is, bro. These little scenes, man. I'm like, wow. And then she's like, yeah, I can't just stay out here, man. She look at the gun, she picks it up and go hunting.
Yo,
Mm. So she's out in the wild. Um,
trekking through the
Now
woods.
it's wintertime. Now geographically speaking, right?
Right.
Wyoming. This is where Tommy was. Jackson. Tommy told Joel
Mm-hmm.
to get to Colorado. It's like about a week's journey. Um, about I think yeah, about a week's journey. Right. I even made the joke. The horse has been walking for 5 days. It could have taken a break and said, "I'm not going anymore." I don't think it makes much sense for traveling for a week on a horse, which probably would be like I don't know, probably like 5 days in cars, probably same or less. I don't know, way less. Of course, a car would go faster. I think 'cause a horse will get tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for it to dramatically be snowing, being a hard winter, a week's journey on a horse, direction wise, it's from
Uh,
because they
so
didn't say 2 months later because Homeboy just got injured at the University of Colorado, so this is like days. This is like a day later from that injury because I don't think she dragged him on that horse for like 2 days straight to get to that house.
yeah, I mean, I
What
think
do you
it's
think?
safe to say that like when they were speaking with Tommy and his wife, that was like
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of winter. Uh, because in I'll draw
Yes.
on the games a little bit here because things progressed a little differently. But
Yes.
in the game when Joel was injured and Ellie was dragging him onto the horse, the first signs of snow started to fall from the sky. And then like the next scene that they showed us, Ellie was donned in like a full winter attire, and there was
Mm-hmm.
snow covering the ground, and Joel was still injured. So yeah, I guess you could just assume that there was like really heavy snowfall in like a couple
Mm-hmm.
days, and then
Yeah. No, no, you're
yeah,
you're right. I'm even thinking of some night scenes in the previous episode in Jackson. Joel was wearing a coat. Like when Tommy came to
right.
pick Ellie up, Ellie was all fully packed and zipped up. Like, yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, it was the beginning of winter. There's just it hit different in Colorado, and Colorado is known for the cold. Like Colorado, Massachusetts, these places, it's yeah, it's cold, cold. It's okay, okay. No, it's that's true.
Mm,
She
mm,
spots a rabbit trying to get the drop on it, but it escaped her. It's like, damn, and she fell to the ground. Perseverance. She got back up. She's a deer. Damn. Dude, the
mm.
camera, the way they zoom in on that deer's face.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
back
it
to
was,
hers.
yeah, it was such a beautiful image. Like the eyes. Oh my goodness.
Very high
Damn, people
quality.
will kill
Yeah.
animals, bro. But still, she shoots. But damn, that deer's like, shit, I'm hit, but I'm gonna run. And she's like, what? What?
Adrenaline.
Yeah. Ah, she start chasing, and then they cut to David and James. They
I
see the
love
dead deer.
I love when stories do that. Like
Mm.
they show two opposing groups that are seemingly disconnected, and
Mm-hmm.
then they alternate the scenes that they show of these groups, and then with each alternation, the groups are drawn closer and closer together. It's
Yeah.
so cool. There's a, there's a book that I read. It's called Arcadia, uh, and they do something similar, where the way the book is structured, they tell um, stories of different characters. Like each chapter is a different character. I think each chapter, each two chapters,
Mm-hmm.
and by the end, well, the first chapter, you're the first couple chapters or whatever, you're in the perspective of this boy, and the boy walks into a cave, and then he sees a fairy in the in the back of it, and then he runs outside the cave and he tries to call people over so he can show them the fairy.
Yeah.
And by the time he brings people back into the cave, the fairy's gone. And then a couple chapters go by. So at this point, you've kind of forgotten about the story of the boy and the fairy. And then you're introduced to this girl. So you're in the perspective of this little girl. And
Mm.
she's in a completely different time and space, a completely different reality to whoever that boy was in the beginning. And she walks into a cave, and she sees this ghost of a boy in the distance, and she tries to follow him, but he disappears uh, before she can find him.
Right.
And you're supposed to make the connection that these two worlds are directly connected to each other, and each chapter that progresses the story tells this overarching narrative that's slowly piecing these numerous characters together. The way I just told the events of the fairy and the cave, they're probably off, uh, but the essence of what I'm saying is uh, what happened in the book, and it's pretty cool. It's a really cool and unique way to tell a story, and we got a glimpse of it here with the whole David. Actually it happens a lot in this episode, right? Like they switch between Ellie, David,
Mm-hmm.
Ellie, Joel, Ellie, David.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
There's a movie that's like that, by the way. Well, not like your book at all, but the structure. It's called Vintage Point. I think Vintage Point, where there's
Hmm.
been an assassination of a political leader, president. Uh, I can't remember what he or even she was. I don't remember the gender of. Anyway, yeah, and then they're showing you the different point of views from the main character, the shooter, FBI agents, a bodyguard, and they all bring them together at the end of the movie. It's
Hmm.
a it's a pretty cool
Oh
movie
yeah.
actually. Vintage Point. Yeah, that structure is really nice. Now, yeah, movies with structures that are not common, like dude, Memento, bro, Christopher Nolan giving us that backwards. But I can't. All right, before I get down, let's stay here, man. I can't.
Well,
Uh,
one more movie. The what's the murder mystery that you told me about? Knives Out,
are you
right?
talking about Knives Out? Oof,
Yeah, that's another one.
yeah,
It's another one. Take
yes,
a little
Knives Out. They
perspective
give you
jump.
different. That is, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great movie.
yeah. Knives Out give you different perspective. That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
Number two was not bad actually.
Still haven't seen it.
Um,
Gotta get on
yeah, Homegirl came out. Janelle Monet. Is it Janelle Monet? I think. Um, so yeah, Dave comes in, sees a deer, and tell James, let's get it quickly because whoever shot it was definitely gonna come for it. And Ellie comes in, bro. If you freaking take a move, I'll put a
it.
shot between your eyes. I'll put a bullet in your eyes and ditto for Buddy
So,
Boy. He said Buddy
dude,
Boy.
dude, let me gush over Bella's acting here for just a second because
Okay.
at first, when I heard how she was commanding James and David to drop their weapons, and specifically the tonality that she said "buddy boy" with, because
Mm.
it was kind of like "buddy boy" the way she said it, and when I heard that, I was like, that sounds a little awkward, a little unrefined. Like it sounded like a kid who was trying to be tough, even though they weren't. And then it hit me.
Mm.
And I was like, well, duh. Yeah, she's a kid who's trying to force that toughness out of her, and a child trying to force a strong presence like that. And deep down,
Mm.
they're incredibly shaken, incredibly scared, incredibly hungry, incredibly tired, incredibly stressed.
Yeah.
Like it's only natural that her voice would come out unrefined,
Mm-hmm.
and the nuance there is in her performance is great, especially when you contrast that with the real confidence of David, and just like his body language and his
Yeah.
charisma and the way his
Yeah.
gaze and voice is just firm and unwavering.
He he has all the characteristics of a leader. Like I see why people follow this dude.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I get it. Yeah,
you're
like
being held at gunpoint. Like I and just to reflect calmness because you don't want to do anything too like hazy or anything weird to receive a bullet between your eyes. You need to make sure that you remain aplomb and that you placate the situation as much as you can. Like, okay, we're
right,
not moving.
and the
Just let me say this. No,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm just saying what he was saying, but go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm bouncing off that. Like the the difference in energies was so
Mm-hmm.
dramatic that it was like a quiet understanding of who was really in control in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah.
the person who's threatening to shoot, but it's the one who's being threatened. That is that's such
Bro, it's
a
R.I.P. Tess. Like literally, just how Tess. How I was introduced to Tess when she just got beat up by these three guys.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She was in control. You're right. Yeah.
She was in control. Um. Yeah. It's So just let me explain. Ellie's like, shut up. He's like, just let me talk. We're from a large group, and we're very hungry. Ellie's like, well, I'm from a large group. I'm hungry too. It's like, we can trade you. We have boots. She's like, medicine. Do you have medicine for infections?
She played her cards so quickly.
Right. Which, of course, she doesn't know what she's just asked for. But again, that's literally But just to show you, man, just to show you, although this girl's hungry, she will trade food right away to help Joel.
Yeah.
Like, damn. He mentioned that she's loyal over and over when she's captured. We'll get to that, but it's like, damn, like that's like, I don't know, man. But then again, a kid's attachment is genuine. There's no malice. I mean, they haven't been developed enough to be fully bad as adults to like betray people. Like it's rare in movies you see a kid betraying an adult or kids betraying anyone. So yeah, in a way, it's not that. What's up?
No, I just thought of the story I heard in the news. I think this is how it went. There was a family that adopted who they thought was a little girl,
Oh
but
my
really
god!
it was someone who was much older pretending to be a little girl,
Wait,
and
in
she
the
was.
news or the movie? Because I saw the movie.
Oh, if there's a movie, I don't know, but like I saw it in
Yeah,
the
I saw
news.
1 and 2 of the movie.
There's a one and a two. God damn.
Yeah, there's a 1 and 2. She's Russian. What is the name of the movie? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. Yeah, I saw 1 and 2 of the movie. She suffered from a disability that in her teeth you can tell. So in the movie she wears like fake little kids teeth because that will give up her age. She has just a condition where she's not able to, her bone structure is not able to develop the way
Mm.
it regularly should. So she stays in that little kid's body. Yeah, she killed her first like husband. The movie's great. Once I find out the title, I'll send it to you. You can watch it if you want. It's fucking scary, borderline scary, but it's pretty good actually. It's good. The first movie's the first. The second movie's a prequel, as in like how she got to become how she was that fucked up. Yeah, literally, there's a movie.
If this is
Um,
that if that really is based off of the news article, that's a crazy thing to adapt. Like
no, but that news article
imagine.
is that recent? Because if that is that recent, because the movie's not that young. That movie's like I think 5 to 10 years old. Uh,
That's yeah, I don't really remember. Uh, I'm it might be like 5 to 10 years old though. That feels right to say that, but I'm not sure.
Orphan.
Uh,
The movie's called Orphan.
Orphan.
Yep, I highly recommend it. There's an Orphan, and the second movie's called Orphan First Kill, which is the prequel to it. It's
Mm.
yeah, it came out in 2009, the first movie. But anyway, it's so weird because that's exactly what you heard on the news. That's Bro, we're digressing here, but that's actually crazy.
Oh shit! Wait, I
Damn,
looked it up real quick. It is inspired by. You're right. It's inspired by a real thing.
I saw
But
1 and 2. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Orphan's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, if you sat
sheesh.
through The Visit, M Night Shyamalan, then you'd be
Oh my
fine with
god,
Orphan.
the
The
visit.
Visit was so great.
Oh
Oh,
man,
we've watched some good movies, man.
to this
Oh,
day, that
dude,
movie
we're
just it upsets me.
it upsets
Thinking
me.
about that end, it just sends a
Yeah. Hey,
shiver
the
down
same.
my spine.
Oh my goodness, dude, what happened to the end of the freaking The Visit? These kids got to do something traumatic that changed them for the rest of their life. What happened to the end of this episode? But anyway, let's not draw freaking similarities here. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's so yeah, so then great. It's like great, I can trade you for infection. It's like great, and then he turns to James and he's like,
Mm.
okay, James, go to the town, find this guy named Howard. Yeah, he has some medicine. He has like penicillin, and come back with them. And James looking, and he's like, James, it's not a code. Do as I say. Like, oh my goodness,
Uh,
it's oh. And James like, sure, all right. And James leave. And again, to make homegirls, just I come in peace here. It's a 4 mile trip to the village, and we can take shelter. I got some matches here. I can light a fire, and for us to just calm down and wait. And of
mm,
course, her guards are always up. She's great, man. She's like, all right, just you drag the deer. It's all good. Let's go. And then they're waiting. And of course, homeboy's like, you shouldn't be out here on your own. And I was like, well, I'm fine where I am. You shouldn't be out here on your own.
yeah.
uh,
You know, it's
it's
interesting
hard to,
too. Oh, sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. What's interesting?
Well, it's just cool that because her guard definitely was up when she first ran into them, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why her voice was so kind of forced. But when they were sitting by the campfire, her bravado was no longer forced. Like her words came out a
Mm.
lot more naturally.
Yeah, because he made her feel
Yeah,
like we're not safe. Like, hey, I really do mean you no harm.
yeah, and I believed it, dude, and I knew where the story was going.
I
He's smooth, he's smooth talker.
He's like, I believe the dude, and I knew where the story was going.
Like I
It's like,
genuinely had a
David, I believe
moment.
you.
Yeah, I genuinely had a moment where I was like, wait, what if he's a good guy this time? But nah,
Ah,
he's just
yeah,
good
and
job.
he's hitting all the right, like, he's even like, he's like, I understand, it's hard to trust strangers, it's fine, but I really mean you no harm. You can join a group, you know, um, and he's like, oh, you have a group of people that are just following you, or you're their leader. He's like, yeah, I know what they chose me. Which even then, as he's speaking, this whole time, I'm like, I actually, I believe the dude. I'm like, I
Right,
see why people would choose you. it's,
right. He has
it's like,
some kind
it wasn't my
eyes.
choice. Yeah. And he's like, it wasn't my choice to lead, but they chose me.
Mm,
And then she's like, okay, so then what are you then? He's like, well, I'm a preacher, standard Bible stuff. And Ellie's like, how can you even like believe in this
and a
shit?
teacher.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I used to be a teacher, math before that. But when the whole world ended, give me a new perspective. That's when I started to believe in God way more, strengthening my faith. He gave us a bit of a background on himself. He's from the Pittsburgh QZ. And from what he said, it went under in 2017. He said Firefly versus Fedra. So similar to what went down in no, Kansas City. They weren't Fireflies. They were just a rebellion. The leader of the resistance. They're just resistance. So yeah, Firefly versus Fedra. Does this mean okay? Remember last episode, right? Riley's like they've taken them down before. We've helped.
Right.
We've taken stuff
Mm-hmm.
down before.
Yep.
Can that be what might have went down? Because
Well,
Fedra's in control. Fedra started these QZs. For QZ to fall, like it says, the Pittsburgh QZ fell. Firefly versus Fedra. That would only mean that Firefly overthrew Fedra.
right. So that's
What,
kind
what do you think?
of that's kind of the issue. Not the issue, but the question I was pondering in the last episode. It's like the Fireflies. They want to take over Fedra, but what does it look like after you take over Fedra? Because
Yeah.
they, the way David was talking about this, it was inferring that the Fireflies, in their attempt to liberate the QZ from Fedra, they
Mm-hmm.
forced like citizens to fend for themselves, like David and his group, because he had to then go across the country, settle somewhere, have raiders come, and then he had to move again, settle somewhere else. So the Fireflies, it's like it it sounds as if they just got rid of Fedra and then didn't establish any kind of order for the people who were affected by the
Hmm.
QZ that fell. Which yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. From what he said, we had to escape. Right. Literally. Which make you question why didn't you just leave everything the way they were in the first place if you didn't have any plan laid out for the aftermath of your overthrown of your coup?
right.
that's
Yeah,
that's actually yeah. That's a very valid point. Yeah, because he's like, yeah, the Pittsburgh that fell, so we moved around, and with a group of people, whenever Raiders would come, would move to somewhere else, and then we end up here. And then she's like, oh, and by some luck you end up here, right? You guys must be very lucky. Oof. And then he gets into it, bro. Damn. The
mm,
leadership traits. This man can make a good bad guy. Although he
yeah,
hasn't done anything bad, there's just something about the way this dude is so calm. I was like, oh, I was like, you don't want this man in his off day, bro. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh. He said, there's no such thing as luck. Everything happened for a reason. And of course, she's smiling a bit, like, oh, go ahead, sure, convince me.
Her guard is way down at this point.
Yeah. He's like, okay, let me convince you. This winter's been fucked up. Not fucked up. That's another thing. The man's a man of God. He's not cursed until he's angered. He's like, this winter's been pretty cruel. There's famine slowly creeping up on us because yeah, we can't find shit that they eat. And so I sent 4 people in a nearby town to look for food. Only 3 came back. Out of the 3 that came back, the one that didn't was a dad and his daughter. He had a daughter, unfortunately. So therefore, there's no one else to look after that daughter now because daddy didn't come back. And that man was murdered by a crazy man. And get this. And he said, and get this. I think that's what he said, or something similar to that. This man was traveling with a little girl. See, everything happens for a reason. And right away, her guard got right back up. Dude, the way that's basic. She's done some things in the past that's been quick, but that's like, yeah, I understand. My guard would have gotten up right away too. Clearly, this dude's talking about me. It's just, man. And then the timing to get to that part of the story for James already to be behind her holding a gun. And he's like, James, lower the gun, James. Like, oh man. James, like, she's the one who killed Alec. So Alec. Unfortunately, that's not a biblical name. If that was, it would have been icing on the cake. I would have been like, yo, this writers. Yeah, why couldn't that be freaking Matthew or Jeremiah or Luke or Mark? But regardless, like, she's the one who killed Alec.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
no, but
yeah. Go. You go.
No, I have no issue with that. But yeah, what are you gonna say?
Well, yeah, like, yeah, it's just they said, they were really painting Joel as the guy who instigated it and the guy who carried it out. And it's like,
yeah,
they're the ones who out of note, because Joel and Ellie, they were on their way out. Like, they were trying
to escape, to leave these people. Yeah,
they're the ones who started.
Oh no, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into what's beautiful about this episode from my lenses, and I'll get to hear yours. But yeah, definitely, it's like they were literally fleeing the scene. They didn't want no part of this. The way they painted these guys is like good Samaritans looking for food. Like, we've been running away from raiders. Like, bro, your folks were raider like in that scene that I saw them.
Outnumbered.
Outnumbered, and they didn't. For people that are coming to ask for food, they literally just charge at Joel. If Joel didn't have Ellie to tell him duck because it was his right side, they would have freaking knocked Joel out. Like, but that is what it is. The hypocrisy, bro. But anyway, he wasn't there. I guess he wasn't there, so he got fake news. I guess. Oh man, yeah. He's like, she's the one who murdered Alex. She's like, yeah, it's okay. James lowered a gun. Give her the medicine. Just give her medicine. And he throws it on the floor. Did he hand it to Ellie or throw it? I think he threw it on the floor. She picked it up. Yeah. And of course, all fatherly and benevolent, like not even trying to freaking like see the situation that he has the upper hand still. It's 2 against 1. My boy have a gun. He's like, I can help you. I can protect you. You won't survive very long on your own. And Ellie, of course, flight, bro. There's 2 against 1. The motherfucker knows who I am. Fuck it. Grabs the medicine, the penicillin, the syringe, and a run. And then she gets to the basement, of course. That was so quick, actually. I was like, she just saw her running, and then bam, she gets to the basement. But she wasn't that far, so that makes sense. She's panicking. She's a kid. Like, where do I stab this? Well, not stab. What's the verb? What do you do with this? Inject. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Where do I inject this? Like, it's I don't know what to do. It's like, was that the right place? Like, in your opinion? Like, in the wound?
No. There were doctors that debunked this scene, or just the whole medicine that's happening in the show. It's not realistic, but it's all right though.
But she's a kid. So I understand she doesn't know the proper procedures, proper location to inject this thing into. But it's like, bro, like, but at some point it makes sense though, right? You're injecting an antidote exactly at the core of the infection.
Yeah,
It might not be it.
that's
That's true. But at the same time, I understand why she would choose that location.
yeah. So I think it's the
Yeah,
best educated guess you can make.
literally, yeah. So yeah, she injects him and then she covers him and then just like lay on top of him. That sounds weird. And just like and be with him. Oh my god, I'm like that sounds so weird. Uh but listen, man, we watched it. It was some fatherly and daughterly moment. It was cute. Like she's
Yeah,
just she's hoping to her warmth and love to nurse him back to life. Well, she's hoping that the antidote is working, bro. That the penicillin is kicking in.
mm.
Mm.
And
And
Joel,
then
he ever so slightly turned his head toward her,
yeah,
and
yeah, he's receiving that. He's like, okay.
yeah,
Like, okay, okay, Ellie, it's okay. Um, I'll receive the affection and the love.
yeah,
Hmm. To take us to the kitchen,
yeah.
back at that place, a
Well,
resort. That's a resort that homeboy ended up telling later on. I think Timothy. Um, cans of I don't know what it was. It was vegetables, but anyway, there's only 5 left. A
mhm,
man comes in with a bucket of meat.
yeah.
The lady asks, "What is this?" He says, venison," in a weird tone.
And the camera lingers too.
And the camera lingers. Oh, she's like, okay. Jesus.
I don't think that's venison.
Oh, venison. Great. These people just call everything venison. This is great. Food is made. Everybody getting rations.
Mm,
Homeboy comes back with the deer.
mhm.
Right when he comes in, nobody says shit. He already knows his people. Like, which is crazy. I don't think James was telling him on the way back, hey man, just so you know, I already told the folks that we found the girl. He already knows. So he brings it up right away to get ahead of this thing as the leader that he is, which is a very good tactic to not wait for people to come and bring this up. I know y'all must have heard a rumor. We did find the man who killed Alec. And when the sunrise, we'll go after them because they'll leave trails, which we'll follow, and we'll bring the man to justice. And of course, bro, it's his daughter. And that's the only kid. Yeah, that's the only kid. They didn't specify, but she said he had a daughter. I think he would have said he had 2 daughters or he had a daughter and a son. So from that specification, Alec only had 1 kid. She's like, we should kill them.
Mm,
And that freaking power, hungry. This was the first time. This was the first time. Because the first time he consoled Anna in the beginning, he comforts her with words of positivity. And God
yeah.
wiped her tears. You know, I understand. We can't bury him yet. But he slaps her, bro. And it's like, I
Right
know
in
you
front of
think
her
you lost a
mom too.
father, but right in front of her mom, bro. Right in front of her mom.
Yeah.
It's like you think you lost a father, but you have a father, and you show him respect when he's speaking, bro.
Yeah, I
How is that
think
disrespect, bro?
like those that sequence of actions that he did, or sequence of gestures that he did, like
Yeah,
he slaps her in front of her mother, no less. Then he kneels down. Then he offers his hand. Then he immediately comforts
yeah.
her, and he
Mm-hmm.
justifies his violence. He asserts his dominance. It's very he's playing a lot of mental games there, but at the same
Yes. Do you
time
know
he's
who
being
does
a
this
little
well?
father.
But I'm gonna let you finish. Yes, that is
Mm,
true. Do you know who used to do things like that back in the days? Well, these people still exist. Pimps used to do that with their girls. Like
mm,
a pimp, literally to break a girl like mentally, to like mold her into becoming obedient. Like they would like beat them and then run them a hot bath and then bathe them. just
mm,
to get into the mind of just slowly putting you into this box that you're never leaving your mind, like your mind possession.
right.
Like they'll break you down, like beat them, and then nurse them back to health to show you like I'm fatherly. I'm the one that can destroy you. Also, I'm the only one that's able to protect you. So go out there and make my money.
That's crazy.
It's yeah, yeah. Pimps would do this psychological game too. It's yeah, that's a big, and she's a kid, so she's very like weak-minded, pretty much.
Mm.
And he's feeding off of that very well in front of freaking in front of her mother, man.
Oh,
And then
you know what's another factor or element to all this is now that we later on we know his his uh his sexual preferences when it comes to
yeah,
that sheds some light on this scene here because that girl he
yeah,
even mentioned that she's like the same age as Ellie, right? Um,
I
but
don't
okay,
remember when.
when he was saying that when right before he was saying that the man was traveling with a little girl and everything happens for
Yeah.
a reason.
Uh-huh.
He said that the guy who was murdered had a daughter who was just like you, like about your age. I think he said.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, there's more comparisons, but it's probably better to talk about it later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely the sexual preferences. It's just, oh man, they
just
literally my man started so uphill and it just went down, but gradually,
yeah,
gradually. It wasn't drastic, which I like.
yeah.
And then he sat. Of course, they gave him the biggest ration. Now something else that, oof, like, because this is off to me as I'm watching, dude. I'm like, okay, this is weird, but let's just keep moving forward because the show's they're gonna elucidate on like what is fucked up here, and I'm gonna
Mm,
go back and rewatch and see this is why. He says grace. People are hungry. People are digging in, but the mom hesitates and take a bite. But James hesitates, look at the food and take a bite. But him,
mm,
he just smiles and eats. I'm like,
yep,
oh. I'm like,
yep.
okay, this is some sick dude. Like, although these other dudes are in on it, but you can see, I really don't want to do this, but I understand. I gotta do this. There's nothing else. But I gotta do it, I guess. But this dude is just, yeah, say grace. My boy's just going in.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, mm, mm.
And
Bruh.
the way the people in the diner wolfed down the food too, it was very convincing. Like
Because they're hungry.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I heard I heard this from an interview. I don't know if it was The Last of Us or something else, but when you're an actor and there's scenes that you have to eat food,
Mm-hmm.
you might have to do multiple takes, which means that you have to eat this food multiple times. So, and I think for this particular scene, it was a long day of filming, and they had to
Okay.
reshoot a lot. So
Okay.
they had to reenact uh, that picture of everybody starving multiple times, and it was very convincing. It's like like watching that scene and knowing that they had to do it over and over and over and over and over. That impressed me. It's kind of cool because it's there's a lot of intentionality there, even for like
Yeah.
something as small as eating food. It's very intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. To show you how long they've been longing for that, how little they've been eating, how hungry they are. Um, so hungry, all those little rations, they don't even have the time to savor those little rations. They're just so hungry for it.
Right.
Like, it's right. Literally, they're actors and actresses who have money, but they have to play hungry. Yeah, to
Yeah.
stay in character
Yeah.
and do it well.
Yeah.
My goodness. Mm. Then they get back to Ellie and Joel. She injects him again. I guess there was the doses of penicillin was not just one. Yeah, it was just syringe and 2 bottles, I think she had. So there was extra. She injects Joel again. No quick changes yet. She, the water, like you were saying, like she was like feeding him the water or just on his lips, just a little ration. Like she goes out there and gets snow to
Yeah.
give to the horse to drink.
Right. She gives him a whole ass bucket. God damn.
I'm like, Like, girl, you have water. Oh my goodness. And then she hears and sees the birds flying. Of
Very good
course,
stuff.
runs toward that direction. There are guys. Like, damn. And she noticed. She runs back. She recognizes, oh shit, James and David is here. And then they show you James and David that's walking. Ah, man. It's like, I want the girl alive. And of course, James like, dude, what the fuck? There's just another mouth. We barely even have enough. And again, no, this man, like, until this point, I'm like, oh, what a good guy. He's like, hey, we can't leave her here to starve. She'll die. I'm like, oh, that's a nice man. He's like, oh man, the shift is insane. And they're like, what, you never thought that it was God's will for her to die here? And he
Mm,
stops. Number two. Number one was the one when he freaking slapped the girl and be like, yeah, I'm your father now. And then how he eats, I didn't know at that point what he's eating. But I'm like, these people seem to be weirded out and he's not. This was the third point. I'm like, okay, this man has a dark side. God's will. And he turned and looked. As in, regardless, whatever you think, whatever, even though we are serving a God, you think it might be God's will. I'm the one in charge. So I saw a power trip and that turn and look at him with
mm,
no words needed. That so much was said in that I freaking stare.
yeah.
James just shut the fuck up and just keep walking.
Yeah, he even lowered his head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All very distinctive, like bodily movements indicating submission,
Yep.
like to a higher power. Like, yo, this man don't gotta speak. Ugh.
And
So Ellie
also,
runs, bro.
like,
Mm-hmm.
since David has been sensing a lack of trust from James the day
Yes.
prior, like, I'm sure this moment of defiance held special weight, uh, you know, in light of that conversation.
That is
Um,
true.
it's just
That is true.
building more and more distrust. So,
Yeah, correct. Ellie runs downstairs. It's like, Joel, they're coming, bro. Like, I'm leaving you a knife. Like, I need you to kill anyone who comes here.
right,
So she's rushing.
it's asking a lot, Joe.
Damn. Yeah, that's asking a lot from a half dead man.
Yeah.
It's like, uh,
Uh,
she closed the freaking. What was that? Like, what's the thing that hides the basement? Looks like a little.
a cabinet,
Yeah,
some
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
We can call
cabinet.
that, yeah, like a cabinet. Correct. She gets on the horse, draw them out. Like, hey, motherfuckers! Start shooting. She misses, but of course the guy's like, I want her alive. Like, bro, imagine if she killed like two of these people with these gunshots. Like,
Yeah.
if I was James, I would just kill David right there. Like, you know what, man? You caused this. And she takes a run for it with the horse and James. Ooh, my boy's a sniper. Damn, one shot, bro. The
Dude, and
horse just
I have
plummets.
to I have to reiterate how uncomfortable it makes me to see the actor who played Joel in the game shoot Ellie in the show with the intent to kill. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I get that it's tough from a directing standpoint. Like, there's not a lot of roles that you could give the actor of Joel in the show, and they wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
that somehow. And I could see why they would land on James, because it's the only character who, like, a lot of characters die in the show, so it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
give Troy Baker a fitting role. So I get why they chose James, but still, like, especially because of something that happens later on, because they also include the voice actress for Ellie in the show later on.
Wow.
And the character they give her is so symbolic. It has so much meaning and connection to the character of Ellie, but the character they gave Joel is like the complete opposite of who he is in the game. Uh,
Hmm.
it hurts to see.
What do you mean by complete opposite?
Well, because instead of being the one who's protecting Ellie, he's being the one who's actively trying to kill
Oh.
her. Yeah,
That's the contrast that you can't make. That's funny. It's
yeah. Like, it's this is the bad dude. Like, he is Joel in my eyes.
He is
So,
Joel. His voice.
yeah.
Honestly, the height too, man. The videos that you sent me, Joel in the game is not a short guy. Pedro Pascal is not short, but I don't know.
No, Joel is
Yeah, I don't know.
he's a tank in the games. He looks nothing like Troy Baker
No,
though.
like the girl from Ellie looks like Ellie. Like, but Joel, I don't really see Pedro Pascal look like Joel that much, and Pedro Pascal looks much older. This is my opinion only, of course. But yeah, like the guy from The Boys, the bad guy in this current season, and he's in Supernatural. He actually wanted to play Joel. I think he
Mm.
looks like looks like a younger version of, because the Joel from the game, from the videos I saw, is a bit old, and that guy does look a bit young, but he has the beard going for him, the height. Um, but yeah, it's that's interesting. That's her protector in the game. That's a guy actively trying to shoot her in the show.
Yeah, it's throwing me off,
Damn,
man.
it's
What's
throwing
wrong?
me off. Like, what's going on? Opposite day.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, he shoots the horse, and horse drops, and bro, they're showing you like Ellie, like her freaking senses are all disoriented. She's just like she can't hear it too well, and of course James come close, and the two other dudes like, bro, you should just finish it. And yo, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's about to do it. I'm like, wait, she's the main character. She's not going anywhere. I was like I stopped myself mid thought. I was like, oh my god, don't do it. And I was like, wait, Pierre, what are you worried about? She's not going anywhere.
You never
It's
know.
like
You never know, man. You never know.
at this point, you never know with the show. Of course, David had to intervene, and then, oof, he does something. He's like, all right, great. He look at her. You could have killed her from that look. Pick her up. It's like, okay, you two with me. I'm gonna need y'all to drag the horse. Three of you can stay. Since you're so hungry for vengeance, I can't remember what he said after. Since you're so hungry for vengeance, like go do your
Deliver
thing
it.
and don't disappoint us. Deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's the giving them like carte blanche right there. Like go kill. That's all good. It's like
Yep.
that's what you've been wanting to do. Go do it in the most sadistically inhumane way you want to do it. It is what it is. Joel's all yours. He
Mm-hmm.
walks away. Oh man. So they're pillaging. Pillaging is no, they're going through door to door. And one of these dudes found the freaking cabinet, moved it, go down in the basement. Oh my goodness.
Joel got
I
up
already know as he's
like
very quick.
yeah, a little suspiciously quick.
Yeah. And not only that too, it's just the you know when you play video games, when you get hit with like an energy booster or some shit like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
from a man who's half dead, the upcoming scenes,
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Yeah,
where did all this energy come from, bro? But anyway, yeah, he freaking get
cracker
the guy
noodles.
from jump from behind him and just stabs him in the neck and keep the pressure. Yo, that's deep.
Mm.
That's not deep, but that's so dope because he's Joel's like probably at like 5% capacity. The,
Mm.
the little strength you have left to keep on that freaking to keep it there. It's just it's like no, I'm not freaking leaving my hand there. I'm keeping the pressure on that neck area with the little strength that I have left. Like we're both down, but I'm gonna keep pushing.
And
It's like damn.
you saw how distressed the body looked. Uh, like the guy he was stabbing. You saw how
Mm-hmm.
distressed he looked when he was dying. Like
Yeah.
his eyes were bulging. He was making eye
Uh-huh.
contact with Joel. His bloody teeth were clenched. Like
Yeah.
the sensation that you're watching a person die. Like
Yeah.
every every person you kill in the game, especially in part two, every death, it draws out that same sensation that makes you go, wow, that just
Mm-hmm.
felt like I saw a human being die.
Yeah.
And this was the first time that the show slowly drew out what a painful, inevitable death looks like and how intense it could
Yeah.
be from a human killing another human perspective.
Correct.
And to me, it's really important that they did this at some point in the show because the brutality of murder is so visceral in the games and so
Hmm.
fundamental to how the story progresses well into part two that I'm really glad that they represented it well here because it's very important that they nail just how brutal a death can be.
Yeah.
So they did
No,
it really well.
they left no room for freaking to redo. Like no, they shit. They did that a bit too much. They've been too gruesome, actually. Too slow, too, actually.
Yeah,
But realistic.
yeah.
Oh man. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I want to see like how they shot that actually. Like I want to be on that movie set. To, it's crazy shit.
Mm.
Yeah, he stays there, watch the life drain out of this dude's eyes, and he's dead. And then it take us to Ellie. Ellie's in the cell.
You
She's
know,
disoriented still.
one thing
Yeah.
before that, why didn't they? I mean, it was strange to me that they didn't take the horse back. Or no, no, no,
They
they
did take
did,
the
right?
horse
They
back.
did. Yeah.
He said, I'm taking the girl, 2 men with me. I'm gonna need you to drag the horse. The three of you can stay. Yeah.
Mm, okay. And I also remember there's a scene later on that they show like a horse that's covered in a tarp. So yeah, that's my bad.
That's
They,
a horse. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, it's all good. He's also, I don't think he was covered. He was literally exposed. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they show Ellie in the cell. She's getting up and it's like, why am I in the cell? What's going on? The guy's like, I'm afraid of you. You know, you're dangerous. It's like,
Mm,
it's like the others want me to kill you, you know, but I stopped them, like because they listened to me. I can protect you.
mm.
Uh, I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? No, like I'm not alone. I'm not on my own. It's like, yes, you
The,
know, that's good. You're
the way she
what's up?
said that, like the look in her eyes, like cause she was
Yeah.
curled up, her like borderline fetal position, and then her back
Mm-hmm.
was against the gate, and the way the words came out was very heartbreaking to see. Because like in the moment,
Yeah.
it
She doesn't
didn't.
believe what she's saying.
Yeah, like it felt like it didn't feel like I was
Try and
looking at
convince
an
herself.
actor. Yeah, that too. Well, yeah, that too. Uh, but it didn't feel like I was looking at an actor. For some reason, it felt like I was looking at a little girl that was really scared, like truly scared.
That's yeah.
I mean, I guess
That's
that's the
what
point of
she
acting,
played.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a damn good job.
Top tier, man. Oh no, no. This episode, bro. Jesus Christ. These last two episodes, this girl's been doing things like man. It's like, yeah, you know. He's like, okay, that man that you're still protecting, that you're talking about. I can tell the others to stop looking for him, you know? And you should need to let that part go, let that part of your life go, because I'm offering you a new beginning. Which kind of ties into what the Revelation chapter that he was currently going, not currently, that was constantly going over, because he said, I've said this too many times to you guys. And this is this new beginning. The old world is done. I was like, this can be a new, better, new chapter in your life, like a new start.
Ooh,
And I can
that's
help
cool
you.
imagery.
What is that?
No, that's cool imagery. A new chapter, and he's heavy on the
Because yeah, because the revelation, yeah, the chapter is basically what is it's a dream, like you mentioned, that he was seeing a better world, a better tomorrow. If
right,
they like perseveres and what's going on now is bad, but if our faith stays strong, we will see that safe haven that he imagined or envisioned or dreamt of. Um, and of course, Ellie don't retaliate. Still, it's like I'm not doing this. And the guy's like, well, you know, you are you are alone, and just so you know, like if you can't trust me, then yes, like you are alone because you need to trust me that I can protect you. Like I'm reaching out, like let me in because I can protect you. I can give you that new beginning. And Ellie's like, dude, fuck out of here. No, like I'm not doing this because of course, dude, she just got up. Like she's being held captive. Like
mm,
she just like one of you guys just almost like shot her. And anyway. Oh yeah, no, it was that same scene, right? Where she said, that's the guy who killed Alec, and he was trying to protect me. I think Ellie emphasized on. Like, yeah, I was like, he was protecting himself, and the guy's like, no, he was protecting you.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then they move back to Joel. Now he already killed one guy. There's two guys left. The guy's walking. He's like, Timothy, which is the Bible name that I mentioned. That's so dope. He's like, Timothy, you see some guy on the floor, flip the guy over, and Joel just knock him out with a gun. It's like, damn. Uh Shit, homeboy regains consciousness. He's freaking tied up on the floor. Oh, now that's it. He's beating up Tommy, right? Timothy. I understand the beat up portion. Even that too. I'm like, how do you have the energy? He's like, where did it take him? Like he said, it would take him to a town. He screamed like, what town? I'm like, all right. I'm like, how do you have the energy to scream that loud?
Like, did he get stabbed in the lung? That was a oh,
Hmm?
that was a really loud. Did he get stabbed in the lung, or was it
Who?
Joel? Because he had to take a
Joel?
deep breath to scream that loud. Yeah.
No, Joe didn't get stabbed anywhere. Joe
Mm,
killed the first guy,
no,
and
like
then Joe
I'm
knocked.
like the initial stabbing,
Oh, the stab, the initial stab. Yeah,
right?
yeah, dude. It's the stomach area. No, it's the lower stomach area. I don't think your lungs are there. It's more of lower belly, like side belly.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was higher up, that would have been a very good point. Like, how the fuck can you still scream? Like, your vocal cords should not be able to stretch out to that extent because your lungs should be failing right now. But yeah,
Hmm.
so that yeah, that would have been very valid actually. Yeah, even so, bro, he screams like, "What down?" I'm
Hmm.
like, bro, you should be way more weak right now. You should not be able to scream that loud, bro. Anyway, the guy's like Silver Lake. It's not a town. It's a resort. Oh, and he puts the freaking he puts the knife in his freaking mouth and take out the map. Like, you better tell me where we are and where that town is. And you better hope your friend tell me the same thing. Which, if you remember, he told the old couple
Yep.
when he pointed the map.
Yep.
So you better hope the old lady here match what you just telling me. And he's like, did you tell him the truth? Are you telling me the truth? Yeah. And the guy points. Oh man, the guy's finished pointing. Okay. He took the gun out of the dude's mouth and freaking the knife stabs him, bro. That's like, I think that's a lung stab or heart stab because
That
that was
was the floor.
upper abdomen.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. And the guy's like, Jesus, which is so religious. But anyway, you scream. Normally people was like, oh my God. But he was like, Jesus. It's like, what is wrong with you? You didn't have to kill him. I'm not telling you shit. And Joe's like, it's okay. You don't have to tell me shit. I believe him. Oh man.
Hmm.
Oh, what did he grab? He grabbed a piece of, what was that? What did he grab, bro?
Was that
Some,
was that a rifle?
no, it wasn't a gun. It was like a piece of metal, a long piece of metal.
Hmm.
It wasn't even a gunshot. He freaking just lifted and just smashed the middle of this dude's head. They didn't show us the aftermath. They didn't even show us the impact. They just showed him just raising it.
Yep.
I'm happy they didn't show us this one. It was like, we already saw one gruesome murder. I was like, ah, bro, like, this is not like, what is this, bro? Shit. And of course, there's another gruesome murder coming up. But anyway, bro.
The most gruesome.
But yeah, the most gruesome, bro. They get back, like you said, they keep going back to Ellie, back to Joel,
Yep.
back to Ellie. Ellie's trying to escape. She can't go to the window. She's trying to go out from to see if she can pick the lock, and she sees something weird. They don't show us yet. She's taking it back. David comes in, bringing her some food, and he notices what she noticed. And they zoom in on like an ear.
Yeah. Bloody cut off.
And yeah. And Nellie's like, you're sick. You're gonna chop me into little pieces. He gets up and said, what was I supposed to do? Like, let them starve. When he said that, dude, I wasn't judging him yet until I finished the episode and I look
Hmm.
back, like I mentioned, how he's eating, like he's not even like shocked that he's eating humans. Like these other two, like right hand, left hand, the girl and the guy, James and the girl, the woman, like you can tell that there's discomfort in eating humans, but I'll eat it anyway because I'm hungry. But him, he had no like there was no ounce of
Remorse.
discomfort from right remorse and like that. My boy was just eating. They gave him the biggest plate anyway. Think about it, right? If they knew you didn't want to do this, they'd probably give you a small ration too. Like a leader, we understand that you're making a hard decision for us, but it's going against our religion. It's going against things we believe in. So let's just give you a small ration like the rest of us. My boy had big plates,
Imagine he
so
was licking
so
his
he's
lips, rubbing his hands
yeah.
together.
So yeah, so he's like, yeah, you're gonna chop me into little pieces. He's like, I understand. Hey, but what was I supposed to do? Let them starve? When he said that, when I said I don't judge him, I thought of like uh things I've read or movies I've watched where people had to do that. There's a poem called Carver with Neil Hilborn. It's one of my favorite poets, like Neil Hilborn, Rudy Francisco. Anyway, Carver, he's following this man, and there's an avalanche, there's a snowstorm, and there's no food. So he started looking at there's a guy who was leg was chopped off or something like that, and he's like, I looked at his leg, the meat ran out, and it looked almost tasty. That's how Neil is describing it. As in that situation, he's hungry, you have to do it. I also thought of like Snowpiercer with Chris Evans when they first locked him into the train. The first locked him into the train, they didn't feed them, so they had to eat each other for the first few months. And ooh, okay, Snowpiercer, bro. Any of the two listeners, Christian, you've seen this already. If
Mhm.
any of you guys want to watch movies that have an accurate description of the different classes in this world, like through the social economic like ladder, like the division of classes, three movies does this so well. Like Snowpiercer with Chris Evans, like you're the boot, know your place. Like you're a freaking shoe. You don't go in the head, you go in the feet. In Time with Justin Timberlake, like, you're just a freaking kid from the ghetto. What are you doing here? You know, there's an imbalance in the system. We need to bring you back where you come from. Ready Player One, Ready Player One. Like you're this freaking broke kid from the ghetto. What makes you think you can win this Easter egg and then freaking get rich? Like I'm already rich. I'm looking for this, so I'm gonna hire poor people to help me get this Easter egg to
I,
make me more rich. Just
I gotta finish that book.
that's
That was
dude.
I really enjoyed
These
what
three
I read.
movies, I know I just went off freaking I'm digressing, but these three movies have such an accurate description of stay in your lane, bro. Snowpiercer, In Time, Ready Player One. And just but anyway, to backtrack and Snowpiercer, they had to eat people. So like I understand that. Like if you have to do it. But when you take satisfaction in it, that's a whole different thing. But
Mm.
anyway, he's like, yeah, I had to do it. Yeah, I couldn't let them starve. They're talking. He's like, I see a leader in you. Like, when I look at you, I see me, like a natural leader. Which I don't even remember. Captain Kwan told her uh last episode. Like, yeah, no, I see. There's a leader in you.
Yep.
Like people have been telling Ellis her whole life, and she is. She does have the characteristics of one. And he's like, you're smart. We know she's smart. You're loyal. She's devoted to Joel or anyone that she's with. And he said you're violent, which is ironic because he haven't seen like just her at her most violent.
What do you do?
Uh, yeah, and he's like, I've always had a violent heart, and but I was shown the truth. She's like, by what? By God? He's like, nah, by cordyceps. Yo, the way
Yeah,
this man
philosophical.
described the way this man described this thing in such a positive light, which makes sense, but also so twisted. It's like, what is cordyceps? It's fruitful. It protects its children, secures its future with violence if it must. And
Mm.
then she said, why do you tell me all this? She said, because you can't handle it. The others can't. They need God, heaven, a father. When he said this, bro, I thought automatically of like religion, how there are so many topics that need to be discussed for people that are going to church that can help them, but preachers tend to sway away from these topics and solely feed them what they want to hear. Because think about it, right? I'm not going to get on some very controversial topics that the Bible mentioned, have a clear stance on, because if I start bringing them up, people are not going to come to my church. If people don't come to my church, who's going to pay these tithes? There's bills to be paid. Or even churches that are fucking like businesses, unfortunately. Like pastors want people to come in to give more tithes and enrich their bank accounts. So therefore, they can't stomach the actual truth that's in the Bible. Because So because of that, they're giving them only enough to keep coming back what they want to hear. So we said the people can't handle it. Like they need God, heaven, a father, but you can't handle the truth. When he said that, that's literally where it took me. I was like,
Mm.
I was like, oh my goodness. He's like, I'm a
So,
shepherd surrounded by sheep. Go ahead, go ahead.
so out of curiosity, are you religious at all?
Yeah, I actually am. Yeah.
Mm, interesting.
That's weird, right? That's that I said that it, the way I just painted it. I mean, dude, unfortunately, we're living in the last days, man. It's just this religion is now a merchandise, bro. It's just being sold and
Mm,
versions that versions that are pleasant to the listeners.
mm,
Yeah, it's crazy shit, man.
yeah.
But yeah, and he's like, I'm a shepherd surrounded by sheep. I want an equal. I want a friend. And then of course, like you mentioned, the sexual freaking it's like come lead with me, and I'll tell the others to stop looking for Joel. Yeah, yeah. Imagine what we can build, what we could do to protect, and then he extend his arm and he's like lingering his fingers on hers. Yeah, it was just fuck. I was like, okay. I was like, you know what, man, just homeboy's sick. Ugh. And then she,
I still think
mm,
the smarter
yeah,
play would have been to just feed into it for a
go
little bit.
along.
Yeah, just go along with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get the assurance that Joel was gonna make it out all right,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
on nighttime just slip out.
But that's the thing that goes against her. Like, Ellie doesn't have ruse in her. Ellie's way too upfront. Ellie's way too bold. Like,
She's also very
like
smart.
ruse. Yeah. No, she's that's straight up from like she doesn't have a poker face. Ellie's not gonna like be with some pedophile for Joel. Like, no, there's Ellie's character and dignity just would not allow that. This is, I, an adult might do it for her kid, but because an adult can think long term. Do you know how many moms would probably like how many moms? Ooh, wait, why did I just think of this? Uh what movie did the mom get raped so the kid doesn't die?
Oh,
Uh
Jesus! You just reminded me of there's a book. Well, while you think about it, there's a
uh
there's a book about a North Korean defector. I'm trying to remember her name. Uh, shit, it's a very popular book, but
yeah.
she goes into very specific detail on the trauma that she experienced as a kid, and uh, when she was trying to escape the country, uh, she escaped with her mom, and one of the people who were leading them away, I think he wanted some kind of payment, like he wanted something in return for leading them out,
Mm-hmm.
and he was gonna go for the little girl because the author of the book at the time she was really young, maybe 12, 10, 11, around that age range, maybe even younger. Uh, and the guy, he was really trying to pursue her and rape her. So the mother said, "Take me instead," and the daughter had to watch her mom get raped. Uh,
Uh
it's very brutal.
bro.
It's very rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I I I feel like that's something that should have a. I think we should put like a trigger warning. That's a pretty intense subject for people.
Yeah. That is true. That is true.
Okay,
Nah, bro, this is
so
a raw podcast, but still, no, but yeah, you're right. It's that's true. No, but we're leading to that anyway. I unfortunately said that, and you said, "Oh yeah, it reminds you." So yeah, but,
that is true. It
um,
is a pretty rough
no,
episode.
no, but that is, but the contrast, the difference. If this was an adult, the adult probably would have done this to protect their kid.
Yeah.
Right. The thing that I was talking about is from Billions, bro. Like Axe got in bed with this freaking Russian, like fucked up dude. He played in Red actually. Red, Redwood Bruce, retired extremely dangerous. He's actually a funny character in Red, but he's just cold dude in Billions. He was in Billions for like one season, and he described the acts like there was his mother that had a kid, and the guy came in, some guy like raped the mother so the kid could be alive, and then his mom, is at the table eating with them with Axe from Billions, And then later on, Axe find out. Axe was like, "You were the kid, weren't you?" or something like that. So literally, that's from Billions. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, right. But since she's a kid, she's not thinking that long, and it's just disgusting. Like parents can endure disgusting things for the survival of what they're trying to protect, or adults for guardians for like Joel. Joel probably would have. I don't know. I don't know actually, but an adult would do this. But her, nah. I don't see a kid doing that. I don't see a kid being that mature to do something like that. Oh, but at the same time, bro. Oh my goodness, I'm contradicting myself. The movie that you brought up that I watched 4 or 5 episodes ago, Gerald's Game. Gerald's
Mm.
Game. She does this as a kid for her little sister. Yo, I can't. All right,
Gerald's
all right, all right.
game. Like
Yeah,
that was the one where
the lady that's handcuffed. The lady's handcuffed to the bed. She was playing some game, love game with her husband. The husband dies. She's handcuffed to the bed.
right.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. They did dive into her past. But anyway, that's funny. I'm
Mm.
saying a kid wouldn't do that. A kid did do that here. But regardless, it's. So yeah, it's I don't blame her for not playing along because it's just disgusting. It's like, bro. So she grabs his hand and freaking like bend that shit, and of course he flips.
Mm.
Oh, it's like, oh, you freaking, and then he grabs her and like smack her against the freaking cell. Like what against what? What is that? What would that be called?
Yeah.
The things that made up the cells.
Like a cage or
Yeah, the what of the cage? The rows, the columns. What would that be called? I don't think.
oh,
Yeah,
like bars. Yeah.
the bars. Yes, yes. English is not my first language, folks. For the two listeners, but yeah, it's just like bang her body against it like 2 or 3 times. And then he
Yeah.
flips. He's angry. He's like, "Oh, tiny pieces." And so you said, it's like, before that, she said her name, Ellie. He's like, "What?" She said, "Tell him Ellie's the girl who broke your fucking finger." He's like, "Oh,
Mm.
she's so badass, bro." Because you think some kids would be like, I'm so sorry, or even like lie because they can see where they are at. But it's just this girl refused to bend the knee, bro. She is the same person in Game of Thrones, man. Oh my goodness. She's like,
Mhm.
tell them Ellie broke your finger. Ugh. And then they show us to Joel again. Joe finally made it in that blizzard. And there's a blood trail, of course. He sees a shed. Now, dude, when he gets in the shed, he
Mhm.
sees something. They look like barns. They're like colorful that the camera zooms in for like 1 second. I paused it and I was like, what is that? Like, I don't know what that was. Like
Barn.
it looks like kids like clothes. Like it was something was like, that was colorful. It was like green,
Oh,
brown, blue.
oh,
Like,
that was Ellie's backpack.
really?
Hmm. Yeah, there was a bunch of
Okay.
clothes from the dead people.
Okay. 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 That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then that's what gets me. So he moves even more and sees the horse. The horse is still there. It's dead, but it's still there.
Yep.
But when he goes up, people that are hanging. Now, from these three people, I'm gonna assume
The father.
one of them is the father. Yes, like when can we bury him? Right. One of them's the father. Now the other two, I don't know what the other two are. Now my thing is, bro. This is one thing I would change. Not change. There's one thing I would allude to. That they never did. Like someone in that town should have asked, like, not should have. Should have is harsh. That's just me. If I wrote this, I would have dumped that little piece of reference to shed light to later on. Like someone say, "Hey, where's Bob or where's Craig or Dylan or Kyle or Eugene or Bertha." I'm just naming white names because I just saw white folks. There was no black people in that town. Like where is where is Benedict? Just, to be like for that to just be a random scene, and then for later on to be like, okay, people were noticing that one person was missing. That's why they have three up here. Not, that's what I've done. But nobody asked anything. I was like, she only asked for her father.
So
So
I think, at least I assumed that it was people that weren't part of that little group.
Ah, that's
Because
a good point. They
yeah,
kill outsiders.
yeah, because David even
Hmm.
said that like these people love me, these people look up to me, and I think he definitely cares about these people for sure.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a very good point. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so anyone that's been passing by, hmm, that would make sense as to why they want to kill Ellie.
Oh, it also I
Yeah.
guess it
Hmm.
would make sense that the 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 guy that Joel killed, like why they bum rushed him all of a sudden. Because it's like, oh, we have fresh meat now. We could kill this person and then bring their body back and we'll have more food.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The guy that Joe killed.
Yeah, like the group that yeah, like the guy he killed and the group that guy was with. Like, because why else would they just suddenly attack somebody who's trying to leave and get out of the way?
Ah, yes, fresh meat.
Yeah, yeah,
That was the food that our master sent us to look for.
yeah, 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 yeah.
that that makes perfect sense. Oh, these freaking cannibals, bro. Oh, when I saw the horse on the floor and three dead people hung upside down, headless, I'm like, okay, these motherfuckers actually prefer not well this motherfucker, not this motherfuckers, because from the look of it, James is not really down for this. Just
Yeah.
like when I saw the way James freaking stare at that piece of venison, which they're all calling it, before putting it in his mouth. James is not 100% down with this.
Nah,
Like,
he's not.
but bro, you have a horse, yet you're still, bro. Anyway, it is what it is, man. And then they get us back to Ellie. They're like, you know what? You wanted little pieces? They come in the stage, they freaking drag her. She bit David, just put her in the table. Bro, like, oh my goodness. She's like, wait, I'm infected. And now so are you. Like, oh, damn. Interesting. He looked at her arm. He's like, she would have turned by now. This isn't real.
Mm.
It's like he is aware of the time frame these things take.
Yeah,
Because what was arm? Arm was like limbs was, bro. I gotta rewatch this first episode and just write this down somewhere. I remember the last one. Head was like 15 minutes. Arms like 12 to 24. I think.
yeah.
I
Like
don't remember.
the closer you are to the head, the quicker it is.
Yeah.
I think the quickest is
Mm-hmm.
like 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes or something
Yeah. So and in between that little distraction, this isn't real. Like James, like, well, David, this looks pretty real, dude. She just, damn, with the same hand, grab the knife, unhook it from the table, and just drill it in James's neck, bro.
like that. I wish that
Oof.
they made Ellie's scar look a little more disgusting. Because from what I saw, it looked like a that didn't look like a bite mark.
From the game.
Well, I mean, yeah, in the games it looked like it was a fresh wound, like pretty much all the time.
Mm.
But in the show, it's like I don't know. That could be a burn mark. That could be something that healed a long time ago. Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's not distinctive enough to be classified solely as a bitten from an infected.
yeah,
Yeah, literally, that can be like, girl, you were born like this.
yeah,
Just,
yeah,
girl, hot water fell in your hand like when you were a kid. Just yeah,
exactly.
it's that is true. Actually, that's true. No, you're right about that. She freaking stabs him and run, and freaking David takes a few shots and barely missed, but she ran off. All doors are locked. Psh, some sadistic shit, man. These
Mm.
motherfuckers was about to enjoy cutting this girl.
And he was singing her name.
Uh,
He was having fun.
yeah. Uh, now he said as he's chasing her, but before the place started burning down because she threw out a stick, the fire lit up, which is crazy. Homeboy is not like he's so cocky, like his confidence, because this dude's in power. So therefore, that's getting to his head. It's like the place is fucking burning to the ground. But like, no, I know this girl's running away from me. People don't run away from me. I'm gonna look. No one's dying here today, but I'm gonna find you. But he says in there, I know you're not infected. No one infected fights this hard to stay alive
Mm.
because you're gonna die. The fact that you're fighting to keep your friend alive, like no, that can't be real. Because people that are infected, they see death as coming. It's either I quickly do the shit that I need to do in my life and end my life like Riley almost did with the gun, or actually we don't know. Yeah, end my life, or just don't. I mean, you finish the shit, or just wait to slowly become infected. You're not moving forward, moving on. That was a nice touch for him to even think of that. And he said, if you are, what make you so freaking special? Jealousy right there too. It's like I'm the freaking shepherd. Like I should have. Like that's what I saw.
I want to be the main character.
Like yeah, I want to be the main character of this. Oh my goodness. So she catch him from the back and stabs him, but it was a little stab. He pushed her to the ground, and she's crawling to get to the big knife. He hits her. Oh my goodness, that was a kick to the guts. Oh, and then of course he freaking gets on top of her, bro. What a scene to watch, man. Just I say, what a scene to not watch. I said, that shit to watch. I'm not like that for the two listeners. That was no, it was a disgusting scene. It was like, hey, oh man, she's screaming, and he's like, oh, he's getting off, man. He's like, what? Oh, you must know that this is the best part for me when they get violence and shit. It's like,
Yeah,
don't
dude.
be afraid. There's no fear in love. Like, ugh,
It was surprising that they really leaned into that aspect of his character, because
yeah. Mm-hmm.
in the original story, David having like a sexual attraction to Ellie, it was very ambiguous. Like you couldn't 100% say that he was trying to rape her in this scene or not. But
Okay.
they full on showed this man like unzipping his pants, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They really want to emphasize that this is David. This is what this is him. Sheesh, that's crazy.
And of course, he's so freaking caught up in this moment of like power. Like this is the most powerful he's ever been. Like his power is extended to freaking. This is the most submissive that this girl will ever be because he literally has her held captive. Like well, three of her limbs, 2 feet and one arm, and she stretch out because he's so fixated on what he's about to do and he's getting off from it. She grabs a knife, dude, and goes in. Oh my goodness.
22 times.
Uh
22 times.
you what? You actually counted?
Yeah, because each time she swung the machete, I was aggressively like headbanging to to her beat. And the more she swung her machete, the deeper my head dipped. I was like, I was damn near out of my chair because I physically couldn't help but react to it. That was intense, man. That was intense. Because in the game, she what must have been like 8 or 9 or 10 swings. This shit was a long time. And there was a moment where I was like, all right, she's about to stop here. but then she just picked it back up. It was crazy. That was insane. That was a lot.
Damn. Yeah. And she gets the keys. She gets out. And luckily for her, Joel happened to have been he's walking around the perimeter to locate an entrance to trying to save her. Bumped into her, and of course her guard is still up. Oh my goodness. Damn, and she's like crying. He said, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, baby girl. I got you. It's like, oh damn, man.
First time he said that. It's okay.
Just when I thought Joel like crescendoed emotionally when he was speaking with Tommy, like saying, I'm weak and all that, to see him in this full paternal like side, borderline weeping, seeing blood on her face, understanding what she must have just done, seeing that she's still in this shaking phase, hugging him because her reaction literally as a kid is telling you some shit just went down. And for him to be like, it's okay, I got you, baby girl, I got you, and then just walk with her, like holding on, because it's some traumatic shit that just went down. You've watched this girl nurse you. Like you've watched this girl have to distract killers from getting to you, use herself as bait. Now you can't even imagine what she just did. Oh man, just nah. This bond is That's it. Joel's like, Sarah, who?
No.
No, that's a joke. We love Sarah. Mm-mm. Oh man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
The protected.
Um.
Becoming protected. And switches back.
Yeah, dude. What I thought this episode did very well. It like unearthed, freaking like unveiled the like hypocrisy behind like religion. Like, dude, so much fucked up shit has happened in this world because of religion. Like, bro, like in Canada, they found remains of Native American children in some basement of a church because they were forcing them into conversion. And it wasn't their religion, it wasn't their fate. So some of them fought it and they freaking starved them to death. They beat some of them. Like, you got freaking popes raping like choir boys, fucking nuns, choir girls. You got like people invading other countries in the name of like their god, in the name of like religion. It's just like this literally showed you like the darkness behind something that has such a positive image. Something that can bring people together that is true, but just so much fucked up shit can go on the other end because nobody's perfect. And unfortunately, like a religious people are some of the most hypocritical people. Look down on other religions divide the Middle East. Like religions, just so much fucked up shit. But the fact that they made these people religious, like they're cannibals at the same time, they're doing fucked up shit. I love that because that's really is how it is. It's just if there was just a regular group, that would have been great too. Just seem like it just seems very like a regular group of people that just doing shit that they need to survive that have cannibals. I get that, but they give them the Bible. This man is preaching. It's the word of God. David, James, Timothy. It's like, oh man, it's all just a freaking. It's fugazi, like Matthew McConaughey said in The Wolf of Wall Street. It's all fugazi. It's a facade, bro. It's like, oh man, I love that. Nah. Like these little like subcontext of writers conveying something. It's beautiful, man. I love that episode. Damn.
Well,
Hmm.
second to last
What did
one.
you think though of the religious concept?
Oh, well, I my thoughts are so centered around what happens in the second game that it's hard to. Well, I mean, I guess
No spoilers.
yeah, because this introduces the idea of cults and like an
Mm.
obsessive uh, or a very extreme religion or ideology that a group of people follows. This is the first time we're seeing it,
Okay.
and yeah, I don't want to say anything else because it'll spoil. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll just say that the story goes in a very very interesting direction. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for it, man. Um. Oh my goodness, another almost 2 hour episode. Psh, we lost another one. All right, we're at -20 at this point. Just we have infected listening in. Infecteds are listening in at this point. Oh
I think
man.
we're about to take our
Uh.
podcast off these sites. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Too much. Too much. Okay, dude. One more to go. One more to
Go.
freaking go, man. And I'm here for it. And I can't wait to get into anime. Oh my goodness. But yeah, let's let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. It's been real.
All right, dude. Come on.
All right. Bye.